Xbox on.
Game on, baby! Wow!
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to the Xbox One Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit. I'm this week's host, Delicious Cheese, and I'm joined by a very good friend, Mr. Jez Corden from Windows Central. Hello, Jez. How are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good, man. I'm hyped on coffee and ready to rock.
Fantastic. That's the best way to be. Basically, all the other staff? I'm not paying them. I shouldn't call them staff. All of the other podcasters have fled the scene. So it's just going to be the Cheese and Jez show today, which I think is just fine with me. What do you think, Jez?
I'm pretty down with that. Big fan of cheese, like pizza and lasagna and all that stuff. So
I ate pizza for dinner tonight.
Oh, nice. I had spaghetti with cheese on it, so that works.
Nice. See, we're already in sync. We both went Italian and cheese. So. But yeah, first of all, I want to quickly apologize to everybody that we didn't put out an episode last week. Clayton and Karina actually managed to record one. I was away on holiday due to so many catastrophes, which is also the reason why we're so short-staffed today. We couldn't put it out last week, so there's going to be some sort of an episode this week, which is coming out just before the Xbox One X launch. Woo! So yeah, apologies for anyone who felt like they missed out last week. We promise to try to avoid that in the future, even if we have to podcast while the house is on fire. But we normally start the podcast with what we have been playing this week. And seeing as it's just you and me, Jess, I'm just going to swing the mic to you. What have you been playing, man?
I've been playing all the things.
All the things?
I've been playing all the things. I've been playing, trying to completely finish off Cuphead. I didn't fully complete it yet, but
I haven't either. It's so, there's a couple of bosses that I just have to put the control down like, okay, let's play a different game for a couple of days.
Yeah. I was making good progress, but then like a Wolfenstein key dropped in my inbox and I just had to pivot and review that.
Of course.
I played the hell out of Wolfenstein 2, finished that off completely. Amazing game. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Tell me all about it, because I love the first one. The reboot, obviously, and I saw you've been like posting about it on Twitter, all week. So tell me about it, man. What's it like?
It's very similar to the first game, It's like carries on the dual wielding tradition, switching to dual wield, and it's got loads of amazing new weapons like the laser Gewehr, which is basically German for laser gun. It's like a big heavy laser that shreds the air and melts cover, and there's like loads of really great particle effects and lighting effects, and some of the laser effects really stand out in the game, and the fire effects, the lighting's really, really good, but it's just a bloodbath, bloodbath for 15 hours worth of gore and blood, and it's absolutely great. Obviously, Wolfenstein surprised people because it was quite an emotional game, and I think the new game dials that up a bit. Like, it actually made me teary-eyed a couple of times, which it's a very strange thing to say about a shooting game.
A game about wholesale slaughter of Nazis?
Yeah. It's like, but the game, like, it gives you these really deep emotional moments, and then it throws you back into something completely absurd and ridiculous, so it kind of reminds you that, yes, we're a game about cyborg Nazis, but we're also, we've got some emotion in there as well. So it's like a roller coaster. It's really exciting all the way through.
Okay.
It's what I'd highly recommend. I've also just started Assassin's Creed Origins, and I haven't played that much of it, but it feels so fresh. So fresh.
I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's I was really bored with Assassin's Creed, the format, the whole open world format and stuff like that. But they've gone really deep on the RPG layer this time. Like, there's even like damage numbers and stuff. So like,
really,
it gives you that sense of progression when you you're getting more damage numbers, and I get hooked on the loot because of that. And it's like lots of little tweaks that just make it feel a lot fresher. Like the combat system is more Witcher-esque, I guess. Like you got a shield now, and you put your shield up to block, and you can do like block parries, like Dark Souls. Obviously not as hardcore as Dark Souls, but you know.
Oh, that's Cuphead.
Yeah, it's like the combat's more. It feels very different. It doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed.
More Zelda-like, maybe.
I haven't played Zelda. Never
Oh,
played Zelda.
okay, because it sounds like Zelda.
Yeah, I suppose like
Shield and sword.
yeah, shield and sword. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, you can use two-handed weapons too, and there's you have to do like shield breaks and stuff to stagger enemies, and there's also like this like adrenaline bar which you build up, and then when it's full you can do like an execution, almost like Shadow of War, I guess.
Yeah.
So the combat system's very different. All of it, the whole game just feels fresh, but then it's still got those Assassin's Creed hooks, like the tower synchronizations and stuff like that, and also like tomb raiding, which is amazing because they're filled with like history and like ancient Egyptian lore. Like
You smash it and steal everything.
Yeah, you can smash all the pots and steal everything, which I guess is like Zelda too.
Yeah.
You go through and it's like there's like little text files to find which describe Egyptian gods, and you can read hieroglyphs and all that sort of stuff. Like it's a really rich game. I'm really impressed with it so far.
That's going to be I'm saving it because that's going to be the first game I play on the Xbox One X.
Yeah, that's one thing to say about Assassin's Creed Origins and Wolfenstein actually, is that they both look pretty blurry on the Xbox One, the regular Xbox One, especially Wolfenstein, which I think Digital Foundry clocked in at about 800p. You can really tell. It's like it's not pretty on the Xbox One, but it is pretty on the Xbox One X, which I am under embargo, I guess, but I played them at E3 and Gamescom, so I'm talking about that version, lawyers. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about any other version. So like,
you're listening, Ago? He's not.
Yeah. I tweeted out the other day that Assassin's Creed Origins is the best looking game I've ever seen on the Xbox One X, and that was an old build. That was the E3 build I was talking about. Mm-hmm. So God knows what it looks like now, because it was just stunning. It looked like a painting. It was just incredibly stunning.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed Origins on the X.
Me too.
It's going to be a great showcase for it.
Can't wait. I'm also really excited about what you said about being able to read all about the history of the Egyptians and stuff.
Yeah,
my girlfriend's going to love that. She's like a huge into this Egyptian history, so it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, they take their history seriously in the Assassin's Creed team. They've gone really all out with it. Like apparently the hieroglyphs are accurate and stuff. Like if I was a game dev, I'd just like draw some fancy pictures and just call it a day.
Some squiggers, yeah.
But they respect the history. You know, you can really tell. It's bleeding authenticity.
Okay.
Yeah, well, as far as I can tell, I'm no Egyptologist, but
yeah, and you weren't really there, 2,000 years ago. So
no, sadly not. Oh, there'd be no internet back then. What a horrible,
lame.
Horrible, yeah, no podcasts either. Wow.
Right? How do people live?
How do people live? Yeah.
Anything else you've been playing, or what? It's AAA season, man. So all the games at once.
I think that's about it. I've got Battlefront 2 pre-ordered, which is probably against my better judgment. But we'll see how that goes down. I'm also probably going to check out Call of Duty. I haven't played Call of Duty for years and years and years, but I'm probably going to give World War II a try. Are you into Call of Duty?
No, I haven't played Call of Duty since the very first Modern Warfare.
I haven't played Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2. So I was thinking like maybe this is the time to get back into it and give it another go. I don't know. Maybe that's.
I'm thinking the same. I at least want to play the campaign because it's been so long since we had a World War II campaign.
Yeah,
I kind of want to see what a World War II campaign would look like with modern hardware. Because the last time we were playing it on like the PS2. so it wasn't exactly high-tech stuff.
Well, there was Call of Duty World at War as well.
True, you're right, yeah.
Which I really liked. I mean, a lot of people didn't like that one, but it was actually my favourite Call of Duty that I played. But I didn't play the old ones. So Call of Duty 4 was my first one. Modern Warfare 1. But yeah, there's just loads of games. It's just tons and tons of games to play. I've been playing The Evil Within 2 as well.
Oh yeah, I'm also saving that. Basically, there's so many games coming out right now. Who can afford all of them? But that's definitely on my list because I really like The Evil Within 1 because it was just so insane. There was a lot of parts that frustrated me just because of how Japanese they were. I don't want to sound racist or anything, but what I mean is that there's certain elements of Japanese game design that you will find everywhere. One of the things that Japanese people love that really bothers me is unnecessary menu confirmations on every single thing that you want to do. Are you sure we want to do that? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Are you sure? Are you really sure? But there's just so many things that it just happens and you're just like, oh, damn it, Japan. This could be so good. And then you had to go and insert an eating contest or a time trial.
So that's really funny because I thought you were going to complain about The Evil Within's insane difficulty, the first game, but no, you complained about the menus.
Well, I definitely played through it on the hardest difficulty, and
really?
I swore I did, yeah. And I went in blind because I always play horror games on their hardest difficulty just because I find that they're scarier that way.
Oh, that's a good point.
Especially like Alien Isolation. You got to play it on hard because it makes the alien as smart as possible, and that really makes it, scary. If the thing about horror games, I find, and that's one of the reasons why I don't think that Outlast is very frightening, is that, when you die, it's scary the first time, but then you reload a checkpoint and you go again. And if you die a second time, it's like, okay, it's like it's lost all of its impact. You're like, right, so now which way do I go? And there's a lot of real trial and error sort of gameplay in the Outlast series. Ran the wrong way. Okay, I'll turn right next time. And and so playing a game like The Evil Within on the hardest difficulty, when you die, you're going to go back a long way. You're going to lose a lot of progress. Oh, yeah. And you have every bullet counts, so it really adds this extra layer of tension. And I mean, it's punishing, but when it comes to horror games, I'm a bit of a masochist. So yeah, it was definitely difficult, especially the part on one level when you climb into a little room, and you have to wait for your friend to open a door, and 600 million dudes climb into the windows, and you have to fight them off and defend your friend, and you've got no ammo, and I was just screeching at the television. But the insanity of the final boss made me stand up and say out loud, what the fuck is going
boss is
on?
Crazy in that game.
Is there any bosses in the new one that are even as close to as insane as the final boss of the first one?
Well, I haven't got through it that much yet. I mean, there's the only boss I've seen in the Evil Within 2 so far is the crazy multi-headed chick with the buzzsaw for an arm, and that's been in the trailers. I mean, and she becomes a regular enemy later on. Well, a sort of nemesis type character that throws her around. But apparently, the Evil Within 2 does have some really insane bosses as well, like the first one. It's funny you were saying the Evil Within, you played it on the hardest difficulty and stuff. I went back through the Evil Within 1 to recap the story because the story's pretty confusing, and I never completed it originally. I think I got really close to the end, and then I just sort of, I don't know, got sidetracked by another game or gave up or something. I never went back to it, but this time I was determined to finish it off. And did you know the completing Evil Within on normal difficulty is a rare achievement?
Really?
Yeah, only 4% of people have done it.
Oh, that means I have to go back and check what my achievement for completing it on hard is.
Well, you should have got, yeah, well, I imagine if the normal achievement's rare, then the hard achievement's probably super rare, but...
Yeah.
I was really surprised at that. People didn't bother completing it on normal because of how hard it was. I don't know,
and
crazy.
Horror games in general, a lot of people don't get through them. They just can't. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's so scary, I
they're
guess.
scary. Yeah, I mean, I think like but I still really love the Evil Within. The artwork is just crazy. I mean, we talk about the bosses and stuff. When I was going through the Evil Within one, and I didn't realize that you get a model viewer for completing the game. So
Yeah.
I actually like went and bought the art book because I wanted to see the monsters like in more detail. And
Mm-hmm.
but you do get a model viewer when you complete it, so you can just view them to your heart's content. Them, but the art book has some like even crazier monsters that never actually made it into the game. Like there was this I think they actually put one in the DLC actually, like the lighthouse woman, like had a light for a head. That was weird.
Okay.
There's just so much weird stuff in that game.
Yeah,
But
whoever their art team, I fear for their nightmares.
yeah,
Like, wow.
I interviewed John Johannes, who the game director for the Evil Within 2 recently.
Really?
And, yeah, I was just like, it's up on Windows Central. Quick plug if you want to go and read it. But
I definitely will.
but they I think one of my questions was how do you dudes come up with the designs, you know, because they're pretty crazy. And I was saying like, is there a stem involved, you know? Because like I haven't seen creature designs that insane since Silent Hill, so I'm really rooting for the Evil Within because like AAA horror games are struggling. I mean, maybe
so
we can
struggling.
talk about Visceral being closed down, the Dead Space guys, and so
Which makes me sad. Dead Space is my favorite games franchise from last generation. I have so much Dead Space memorabilia. I have like a replica plasma cutter. I have a statue marker. I have a poster in my bedroom. I have like I bought like the $150 developer edition. I have like numbered, like it's limited. It's numbered. I can't remember what number it is, but I have
must be
art
good
books and I have everything I can get my hands on, even the books and the movies, side stuff. I loved it so much, and hearing that they closed down, it was just, you know, devastating to me because I want
sure.
a new Dead Space game more than anything. And you know, speaking of rare achievements and horror games and Dead Space, I remember reading an interview with the developers of Dead Space saying that something like less than 10% of people have finished Dead Space 2 on any difficulty.
Wow.
Yeah, just because of how the horror is just like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like horror's this genre that it brings so much creativity, and you think like with the, you know, streaming, the age of streaming, and the, you know, the reactions you get on camera and stuff, that they might do better in today's age than they had in the past. But I feel like people just like they just watch those games being played now instead of actually playing them themselves.
You just watch PewDiePie shouting at the screen or something for a couple of hours, and then you're like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Have you played?
We're giving away 4 copies on Windows Central right now because I just
I know where I'm going after this interview.
So
yeah, I'm really rooting for it too. I buy basically every horror game I can get my hands on. Have you played Observer yet?
No, I've got it installed, but I never got around
Do
to
it.
it. I
Seriously,
really love Layers of Fear as well.
Do it. It's Layers of Fear with if it was set in Blade Runner.
Yeah, see, that sounds awesome to me.
It's so good. Really, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's just amazing. You really have to see it because it's like it will. Okay, do you know the general story?
I don't know anything about it. All I know is that it's made by the same devs who made Layers of Fear, which I was a big fan of too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's not a spoiler because they literally tell you this like within the first 30 seconds. During the game even begins with like a Blade Runner style text crawl where they explain the history. You know, the year is 2048 or whatever. And you play a guy who is an observer, and basically you're like a cybernetic cop, and you plug into people's brains and you dive into their thoughts to get the truth. So instead of like, you know, how cops nowadays, they interview people and try and figure out the truth with this interview, basically in the future they just plug in and dive into their subconscious. So you're wandering around in the dreams of murderers or people who have just been murdered, and it's like the most insane stuff you can imagine. Like, oh, it's freaky.
That sounds awesome. I
it's
definitely
great.
want to get around to it.
Please make the time. But I have been playing. Back to the topic, we went on a big tangent there. I've been playing a lot all weekend. Basically, I binged on Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, right. I don't know anything about that game except for that you throw a hat on dudes and possess them.
I mean, Mario has become like this sort of eldritch cosmic horror that possesses his... I think someone drew a comic on R Gaming a while back, and they took like the head crabs from Half-Life and put Mario's hat in place of the head crab. But yeah, it's great. But basically, it's a Mario platformer. Did you ever play Super Mario 64?
No, I didn't. I just wasn't a Nintendo kid at all. I had Sega systems, and then
the thing is, it's basically Super Mario 65. I guess it's the same style of game. It's been absent since Sunshine on the GameCube, and now it's back. So it's a real love letter to like late 90s sort of 3D platformers, collectathons, Banjo-Kazooie, that sort of thing. And it's just really fun and really charming. It's Mario, baby. You run around, and the gimmick is, other than platforming, that yes, you possess things. So you take over the enemies. So you have, most of them involve solving a puzzle of some kind, like maybe stacking Goombas to reach a higher platform, or possessing a T-Rex to wreck up the joint, or
why is there T-Rexes in it?
Don't ask stupid questions. Okay.
I do think it's really interesting because, purely because, how Sony and Microsoft have been chasing this 4K dream, but Nintendo has gone this completely other direction with a tablet, and then they're pushing it with, amazing games, which seems to be working out really well for them. They've been number one in MPD for the last 3 or 4 months.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Super Mario Odyssey is, by ratio of votes, the highest rated game on Metacritic ever.
Wow.
It's not the highest rated ever because nothing is going to dislodge the Zelda game that's there. Is it Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't recall because it's only got 6 votes, 6 scores. But basically, Super Mario has the most perfect scores, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so they're competing against themselves for Game of the Year against Zelda, and it's just fun. The graphics aren't spectacular. There's a lot of jaggies. You can really see the low resolution, especially if you've got a 4K TV like mine. But the art style is just really charming and really simple, and it's beautifully animated, and it sounds good, and it looks good, and it's just fun to play.
They would make stupid money if they put their games on PC.
What was that?
They would make stupid money if they put their games on PC.
Oh, stupid money. You port Breath of the Wild to Xbox and PS4, and you're making so much money that you could, start your own currency. It's crazy. And
Nintendo currency.
Yes, Nintendo.
Nintendo. You've thought about this.
I have, actually. Well, I mean, in Mario, they're coins, gold coins, so they've even got the iconic coin symbol, so it's all set. Oh, the game is full of customizations and cosmetics, and it's all in game, and there's no DLC, which is kind of a hot button topic at the moment. Yeah, I know it's rare these days. It's just very fun, and I've also been playing a lot of Shadow of War.
Oh yeah, I played the hell out of that too. I reviewed it. What do you think of it? I want to know what you think.
I'm enjoying it. I would describe it as Assassin's Creed in Mordor with Cockney Pokemon.
Very good weapon.
Because it
Cockney
controls just like
Pokemon.
it controls just like Assassin's Creed, except you can do like badass ghost flips and stuff like that, and you feel like a real predator, stalking around up above things and dropping down and stuff like that, and it's really fun to play with a nice combat system. It's very hard sometimes as well, which is good because in the way that death is actually part of the game. So if you played through the game and didn't die, you wouldn't actually experience everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun, and of course the whole Cockney Pokemon aspect where you got to catch them all. The orcs are like the main story. I don't even know what the story is. Build an army or something. I don't even care. I'm just having too much fun.
Kill Sauron. That's the story.
Yeah. I'm having too much fun running around, interacting with the orcs. Like not even just killing them, but like just listening to them talk, or the way you can be walking along, minding your own business, and then suddenly one of them headbutts you out of nowhere from behind and starts. For example, I was sneaking around poisoning a whole bunch of grog for them to drink. I poisoned a whole bunch, and some dude snuck up behind me, and he didn't want to kill me because I was like, the main character. He was really angry because his name was like something the poisoner or something, and he was really angry that I was poisoning them wrongly. Like he was upset that the poison I was using was bad, or I was doing it wrong. And he's like, "That's not how you poison someone. Haven't you ever heard of this?" So he was lecturing me on poison, and so stuff like that. It's just really funny. And then of course I killed him. I chopped him in half, and then a while later he comes back. And now his name is like the Machine, and he's like all metal, and he's like, "You have created me." I killed him again, chopped off his arm and his leg, and he came back again with even more metal parts, and just stuff like that. It builds a real relationship, with you and the dudes. And of course, once you can add them to your army, then you can start like sending them on missions and leveling them up, and it becomes like Pokemon. Really, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Especially the way you enslave them and force them to do your bidding.
Yeah. Like the orcs in that game really steal the show, I think. Like
they do.
The writing and stuff, and the character acting on the orcs is really great. It's funny how they're all British though. Like
yeah,
why?
except for Bruce.
Bruce?
The first one you talk to, Bruce, he's Australian.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just odd. Like, why?
Yeah, he's just walking around like, "G'day, mate, how you going?" Like throwing out all this Australian slang. Like, wait, hang on.
I didn't even notice that. Australian.
Yeah. And his name's Bruce. But yeah, other than that, they're all Cockney dudes. Yeah. But it's funny. I mean, also all of the characters in the series are British as well. But the main character and everyone else speaks to kings, But yeah, the orcs are the boys.
Yeah. The main thing that I didn't like about that game was just the sense of grind, man. The grind is like really crazy. Like in Assassin's Creed Origins, I don't know why, because the gameplay format is similar, but for some reason Assassin's Creed Origins just doesn't feel like such a grind because there's just so much more to do, and like I think as well, like the world feels a little bit more alive because there's like all the NPCs in Shadow of War practically orcs, like Pokemon, basically.
They exist for you to. It's like I understand what you mean. Shadow of War feels like your playground. Like everything there exists for you to kill, enslave, or even just terrorize.
Yeah.
You can just drop bees on people who are sitting down and enjoying their own life. You can do stuff like that. And yeah, I understand what you mean. Like I guess the thing about Assassin's Creed is it feels more like a living world, maybe.
Yeah, it just feels more like an RPG. And I know like Shadow of War tried to ramp up their RPG layer a bit by, having loot and that sort of thing, but it all feels so inconsequential. And I think like the way Assassin's Creed includes the damage numbers, which is a very like subtle change, but you can feel yourself growing more because of that. But in Shadow of War, I never felt like getting a gear upgrade was that necessary, because all you can just dodge constantly and then execute everything, drain everything back to full health, and it all starts after doing that 1,000 times. It starts feeling so arbitrary.
Yeah.
And,
See,
yeah.
I'm still like not that far into it, so I'm just now starting to hit a grind. Like I've taken over two of my own fortresses, and after that, it really does like say, oh, okay, so I'm gonna do all of that again, am I? And I'm gonna do it exactly the same way, am I?
Yes.
And because I was playing fairly quickly, I wandered into the third zone underleveled, and so the war chief is like 26 levels above me. It's like, okay, so I've got some work to do then.
Yeah.
I can tell you 100% certainty that I will never finish this game. It's just too... Like, I didn't finish The Witcher 3 because it was just too big. I don't have time for this stuff anymore, you know? So...
Well, that's the thing, like, The Witcher 3 drove me forward because... Again, it's that sense of RPG progression. And even The Witcher 3, like, eventually you do hit a wall and you end up, like, maxing out your abilities and you end up with the best weapons you can get. And then the sense of RPG kind of ends in The Witcher 3, which is a disappointing to me. But the story was so good that it kept me going forward. But I don't think the story in Shadow of War doesn't really have... much
doesn't really have a story.
To it. Yeah, it's like even in the missions you're still doing the same thing. Like the amount of times you basically just escort a character, rescue a bunch of dudes, and you do that like over and over again, and then you fight
the amount of dudes the amount of dudes tied to poles that I've uncut has got to be, it's insane. Yeah. But it just still feels somehow fun. I'm not bored with it yet, but I know that if I keep it's inherently playable.
Yeah.
Like brain off, interact with some orcs, like then it's fun. Kind of like in a when you play a multiplayer game like, I don't know, Overwatch, you're not really going anywhere or doing anything. You're just sort of playing a multiplayer match, but if you don't think about it too much and just concentrate on the actual gameplay, then you have a good time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good way of putting it, because there's not really not much to think about. But like in The Witcher 3, like if you come back to The Witcher 3 after having a break, it's like, oh, where am I going? What am I doing? And
yeah, exactly.
The Shadow of War was kind of like Dynasty Warriors in that sense.
Yeah, that's a really good comparison. Brain off, slash up 600 dudes. Brain off, play with some orcs, because you can, like I say, it's your playground. So you turn up to a bunch of orcs and you're like, today I'm going to drop bees on these guys, poison this grog, and then unleash a grog, and then I'm going to jump on a dragon and set everything on fire. And you don't really have to think about it. And that was one of the main reasons that I stopped The Witcher 3, is that I knew that the game was like 300 hours long. And at that point, I was only able to play for maybe 1 hour a week. So I'd get in on my Thursday night and I'd boot the game up and I'd be like, where am I again? What am I doing? And then, I'd play for half an hour to try and get my bearings, and then I'd start doing something, and, half an hour's up, my hour is finished, and it's like, well, I didn't get anywhere. I guess I'll stop and come back next week. And the same thing happens next week. And after a month, when I've made like 4 hours of progress and got halfway through a side quest, I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But, that's a rare thing. That had nothing to do with the quality of the game. That was more of a me thing.
Yeah. I got so absorbed in The Witcher 3, like all the side quests, even the dumbest side quests could have like amazing plot twists and unique mechanics and stuff. It wasn't like in Shadow of War where every side quest is basically go and chop some dudes down from a pole or kill this old captain. Like The Witcher 3 is like it put effort into its side quests, and I'm getting that sense from Assassin's Creed Origins as well. Like I rescued some kid from a tomb who got stuck in a tomb, and I got to like go through this cool tomb and solve some puzzles and get some loot and read some Egyptian history as well, and it feels more rewarding than Shadow of War. Shadow of War's brand. Shadow of War feels like the kind of reason why Assassin's Creed had to go back to the drawing board. Like, if Shadow of War kind of feels like an old Assassin's Creed, and
It
then
does, yeah.
Assassin's Creed kind of went further in this RPG direction. Maybe the next if they do another Shadow of War, maybe they should explore the crazy action aspect more. Maybe go more towards the Dynasty Warriors route, and just because there's so many orcs on screen.
Yeah, especially during the raids, that when you
Yeah.
take the castles.
Yeah, that's crazy. They could do push more in that direction. By the way, I just want to say something completely off topic, because I'm just messing around in Assassin's Creed Origins while we podcast, and I just noticed something really funny.
What's
Like
that?
when you're walking through tall grass, he puts his hands out and feels the grass. Like it's just a
What?
it's just a little detail. Like when
Huh.
you're walking on a road, he walks with his arms by his sides, but when you walk through the grass, he puts his hands out and feels the grass while he's walking.
Well,
It's just a
I
little,
mean-
cool little detail.
that is a nice. It's the small details that get me.
Yeah, I love
they
that
really
sort of
are.
stuff. It just kind of I was walking through this field of poppies, and I reminded me of Metal Gear Solid 3. And then he put his hands out and started like feeling the poppies, and I was like, oh my god, they bothered to do that. And you can pet cats as well.
I heard that's the get 10 out of 10 game of the year. I heard that if you go wandering in the desert for too long, you start to see things.
Oh wow, I need to try that.
Yeah,
There's a desert right there. I'm going right there.
I do my best to avoid spoilers, but because of the nature of my Reddit job, I always end up catching a few.
Oh yeah. For
And
sure.
I can never ever see movies unspoiled. People will deliberately send spoilers to mod mail just for any of the big movies, which is a real bummer. If
Oh,
you do
that
that,
sucks.
if you do that, there's a special place in hell for you, guy. Seriously.
That really sucks.
Yeah. But, well, all this talk of games and stuff, and this podcast is actually being recorded the day before Halloween. So we actually were talking about spooky games, and it's Halloween. Have you got any good horror games you want to recommend to anybody listening?
Well, we'd already talked about the Evil Within series.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would go back and play the Evil Within 1 before you play the Evil Within 2. I think it's worth it. They've updated the Evil Within 1 as well. Like, when it launched, it had these notorious black bars at the top and bottom to give it this sort of...
Yeah,
I don't know
I played
why they
through
did
it with
that.
those.
Yeah, I played through it without them because they patched them out or made them an option. And it suffers a bit like with the resolution as a result, because it was launched for the Xbox 360 too, and it had these RAM limitations, which is why it looks kind of lame on Xbox One technically, but I think it still holds up as a hardcore survival horror game. So definitely check that out. And also, if you've never played the Resident Evil games, they're all really cheap on Xbox Live now. Like Resident Evil HD Remaster is amazing. It's a masterpiece. Resident Evil 4 is on there, really good too. And Resident Evil 7, I absolutely adore Resident Evil 7 so much.
That was a surprisingly good game.
Yeah, it was. I think the Evil Within 2 slightly better than Resident Evil 7 so far.
Oh, I can't wait.
But Resident Evil 7, you have to play it. It's a tremendous game. And it runs so well on Xbox. It's like 60 frames a second, 1080p, and it looks really good. So definitely check that out. I don't know if you want to recommend some.
Well, I was recommending Observer earlier. Everyone should check that out. And Layers of Fear also. I'm trying to think of Xbox One games. Obviously, I say basically every week that if you haven't played Alien Isolation, you don't deserve to call yourself a horror game fan. But there's actually quite a few small indie games like creeping onto the Xbox One that I really want to play. Especially quite a few of them are on discount at the moment, but I haven't gotten a chance to play them. One of them I think is called Claire, and it's like this sort of pixelated side scroller. And I watched the trailer and it looked kind of creepy. So if anyone's played that, let me know what it's like, because I'm thinking about picking it up. It looks good. And I saved Stranger Things for tomorrow. I haven't watched any of that yet. Stranger Things 2, I mean.
Never seen that show.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Very, very 80s throwback.
I've been watching I started watching Twin Peaks season 3.
Mm.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's great.
It's the first episodes are like so heavy. Like the stuff that happens, like that. Twin Peaks.
Have you seen the first 2 seasons though?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of Twin Peaks, and like the first 2 seasons are like they're not very gory. And
No,
then
the
season
gore
3
is
like,
insane. It's gloves
Bloodbath.
off. It's many times my girlfriend and I were laughing that basically it was David Lynch saying, I got no filter now. Like there's one part in one of the episodes where you sit there in silence and you watch a man sweep the floor for 7.5 minutes. And we were joking, like
so
Lynch
true.
is sitting there. He's like, and then I made them watch him sweep the floor. Like, it's just, it's really self-indulgent, and I think that sort of adds to the charm.
Yeah, I gotta finish watching that. And by the way, I am walking through the desert right now in Assassin's Creed, and Bayek's like stumbling and looks really tired. And I think I am starting to see things like the screen flashed. So let's see where this goes.
Okay, good. Keep us posted. I didn't even realize you were playing the Xbox this whole time.
I'm just sort of walking around and using photo mode. I'm not properly playing. But
Yeah.
We'll see where this goes.
Just see what happens, yeah. Keep me informed. I hear it's got a good photo mode. So does the new Mario, actually. I was shocked. You wouldn't expect a Mario game to have a good photo mode, but it does.
Every game needs a photo mode. I mean, when I was trying to take pictures for the Shadow of War review, I was like getting annoyed because the motion blur makes it really hard to screenshot things. But then I realized it had a photo mode, and I was like, oh, now I can take really good screenshots and stuff. So every game should have it. Listen, hear that, devs? Every game should have it.
Yeah, devs, get on that.
Get on that.
So, I suppose we should quickly touch on the fact that actually this is the story from your website that there's a PUBG announcement has been teased.
Yes, I mean, I suppose when this podcast goes out, the news will have already happened.
Yeah.
We've been asked if we want the news under embargo, right? And I was like, yes, we'd like that.
yeah. Gimme.
But they haven't told us what it is, what the news is.
Oh.
And then Aaron Greenberg tweeted that today. Now, usually when Xbox gives us an embargo like that, they tell us what the news is.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they're keeping this top secret because they don't want it to leak.
Ooh.
So I'm wondering if it's something that could be a bigger deal than just the... See, originally I thought, oh, it's just the launch date for the game.
Yeah.
But I think it might be a bigger deal than that. We'll have to wait and
So, exclusivity?
I would love that if that was true. I don't know. Oh, sorry. I'm hallucinating in game. It's raining dead insects. That's really creepy. Yeah, it was raining insects just now in Assassin's Creed from wandering in the desert.
That's good.
That's
just another day in Egypt.
Just like the plagues. That was I got an achievement for it as well.
Oh,
a rare achievement unlocked. Although the achievement's in German, so I have no idea what it said. But, I think that was the achievement for just wandering around in the desert. But anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, we're talking about PUBG. So
yeah.
If it was like obviously when this podcast goes out, we'll all know what the news is. I think.
Yeah.
But
so this will be like interesting in hindsight.
Yeah, it will be. But I'm kind of hoping that it is exclusivity because I kind of feel like Xbox's exclusive lineup right now is not the strongest. Would you agree with that?
I think that would be considered an understatement.
Yeah,
considering we have Halo 5 as an exclusive. If you don't include PC, we have Halo 5. And if you include PC, there's Halo, there's Forza, Recore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I liked Recore actually. I still haven't. I'm actually saving the new update because they made that definitive edition,
Yeah.
And I'm saving the download of that until I get the X so I can play through it properly, because I didn't finish it the first time. I want to play through it properly in the new enhanced mode, basically.
Yeah. It's Recall's an underrated game, but and
I think so too.
people have been calling on Microsoft to do a Sunset Overdrive 2 as well, because Insomniac said they needed a publisher, which basically put pressure on Microsoft to do something about it.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing, like if people were completely satisfied with the lineup for the X and the Xbox One, people wouldn't be making their petitions for games and stuff like that. So I do think Microsoft does have an issue with the lineup and the way it looks. And I think if as good as the Xbox One X is going to be, 6 teraflops, 4K games and all that sort of stuff, people who are looking to invest in the ecosystem, I mean, obviously with the X, you're gonna sell the console to the hardcore fans, but you're cannibalizing your own users there. If they want to sell it to more people outside of the base, then people are going to be looking at what the lineup looks like, and the lineup doesn't look that great if you're on the outside looking in.
No, especially if you're comparing it to the PlayStation or especially the Switch, which has like basically everything as an exclusive except for the indie games.
Yeah, exactly. And Sony just announced a load of new games as well, didn't they? Like they're doing, is it Shadow of the Colossus again, or
some sort of samurai game? I think.
Yeah.
Was announced today. Some sort of open world samurai game, and also Guacamelee 2. Yeah, boy.
Yeah. See, it's like there are good games coming to Xbox, like Crackdown 3 looks like it's going to be really fun, and State of Decay 2 with co-op zombie survival games are always fun, and Sea of Thieves, has so much potential, but these are all sort of like unknown quantities. I think it would be really good if Microsoft did get the exclusivity on PUBG, and I think it's likely, because they announced in Microsoft's earning calls that Bluehole had switched to Amazon, from Amazon Web Services to Windows Azure to power their dedicated services. So it's kind of like there's something going on here. This is more than an average partnership. If they're switching,
they're already publishing the game.
Exactly. They're not just publishing the game. Microsoft are building the X version the Xbox One version in house.
Yeah, exactly.
Bluehole's not working on it. So I do think there is some kind of potential there that it could be fully exclusive. I mean, it might be a pipe dream because there is so much money for them to be made by being multi-platform, but Microsoft have a lot of money too. And Phil Spencer's got newfound power as an executive corporate president or whatever. I can't remember what his job title is. It's executive vice president.
Something
for
like
gaming.
that.
Yeah, Oh, I'm being killed by a lion.
Oh.
Executive vice president for gaming. That's Phil Spencer's job title. So he's now got he's got extra power to go to Microsoft's financial officers and be like, yeah, I need $1 billion to buy this studio and this franchise.
He can dip into the coffers.
Yeah. So if this is his first move, I will be totally on board with that because PUBG has become some kind of phenomenon.
Yeah, it'll be great. I'm really looking forward to playing it on the Xbox. I would have played it on PC, but once I heard it was coming to the Xbox One X, I was like, well, I'm not going to buy it on PC. I'm going to get it on the Xbox One X, and it's probably going to be crossed by, what's the word again I'm looking for here?
Xbox Play Anywhere. Yeah.
Play Anywhere. Thank you. It's probably going to be Play Anywhere, so I can get 2 for 1, and it's going to be good fun. The Party Chat crew is definitely going to be rolling on the PUBG public servers, so come and kick our asses because we're not very good.
Yeah, same. I've only played PUBG like 3 times, I think.
Okay.
Because I had to send my Razer blade off to get repaired because I broke the keyboard.
I remember you said so.
Yeah, that was really dumb. But so I have barely played it, but I'm gonna wait for the Xbox version, and it's interesting why I'm waiting for the Xbox version, and it's one of the reasons why I think exclusivity could really help the game, because like PUBG blew up so fast that the developer could barely handle it.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing these complaints from like streamers and hardcore gamers about the amount of cheaters in game.
Yeah.
And I think like Microsoft software expertise could really help to solve some of those issues. And obviously, you're not going to have cheaters on the Xbox One.
Not just cheaters though, like just people being dicks. Like for example, turning your graphics all the way down so that you don't have any grass, so people can't hide in the grass. That was like a really common thing to do in PUBG. So I'm really looking forward to the even playing ground. Basically, the even battleground. That's one of the main draws of console shooters for me.
Yeah, in theory, because of that, not being able to access the settings, and also because you just can't cheat as easily as you can on PC. I think the Xbox version could become the quintessential version for balance and stuff.
I think so too.
But that's kind of a shame though, because it did achieve its popularity on PC. So hopefully Microsoft can, if Microsoft are buying up exclusivity, they can put their resources towards solving some of the cheaters and stuff like that, and maybe bring Bluehole in house and give them the resources to really help the game achieve its true potential. Kind of like what they've done with Minecraft, making it the ultimate cross-play experience.
Yeah, in fact, just before this podcast, I was talking with my fellow moderators on the Nintendo subreddit, and we are going to organize. This is the first anyone's heard of this, by the way, but we are working to organize when the Switch's crossplay goes live, a proper realm, like a hosted server for Xbox One and Nintendo communities to just come and join, and the console wars server, basically. It's gonna be great fun. There's going to be absolutely nothing left standing, I think.
But no PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because no crossplay.
That's so bad, guys. What are you doing, Sony? Seriously, it's Minecraft. Like, I can crossplay with my cell phone. Come on, guys. But yeah, no. Bluehole, given Microsoft's money and freedom, I think would be fantastic, because they're clearly talented developers, considering they made one of the most popular games of this generation with pennies.
It's a phenomenon. It's that whole Minecraft thing again. You know,
look at
indie
Fortnite.
Game out of nowhere.
Fortnite rebuilt itself to cash in on the hype of PUBG. Like, the free version of Fortnite is now Fortnite Battle Royale. It's not Fortnite anymore. They even changed the name of the game.
Did they?
Yeah. It's called Fortnite Battle Royale. If you want Fortnite, you have to pay. The free version is a different game now. Battle Royale. So that's how influential it is. Fortnite wasn't doing so well, and they decided to copy the PUBG, and boom, instant success. So this could be the dawn of a new genre.
Yeah, it is crazy, and I do hope the announcement is something more than just the launch date, because I don't know. That feels kind of lame to announce an announcement for just
announce an announcement, like when they do teasers for a teaser trailer. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, an announcement for a teaser. For a teaser trailer.
So, we've been chatting here for close to an hour, but before we go, we've been mentioning it all episode, but this is actually going to be the very last podcast that goes out before the launch of the X. This will go out on Thursday the 2nd, and then the Xbox One X will drop next Tuesday after that on the 7th. So, Xbox One X hype! I mean, you've got to be excited, Jez. I'm sure you've got like a whole stack of Xbox One X's just sitting. Like, I'm sure you just sleep on them.
No,
that's what the internet would like to believe, Jez.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to believe. I don't have iReview unit yet. I am supposed to be getting one, but I don't have it just yet.
Are you guys going to be doing a review of the X?
Oh yeah, we're gonna be all over it. So we've got 2 of them in the company. Our video studio's got one in the US. I'm getting one in in Germany, and I'm going to be handling the full written review, and Daniel Rubino and Mark are going to be handling the video content on our YouTube channel, doing the professional video stuff that I just.
Ooh. So what should people be looking forward to on your website in regards to X1X coverage? Seeing as you guys are pretty popular on the subreddit right now, there's not many web pages out there that will go to bat for Microsoft exclusively these days.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. I get accused of being overly positive about Microsoft, sometimes, but I always just, call it how I see it. So I'll just be, honest about what I think the Xbox X represents in Microsoft's lineup, and whether it's the right console at the right time. There's a lot of questions about the X. Is it really worth $500 and a TV? Is it worth getting it for the 1080p version? And we're going to try and answer all these questions. We've got them hooked up to. We're going to get the console hooked up to 1080p TVs and 4K TVs. Daniel Rubino's got like a crazy OLED TV, 4K TV, testing it on that. We've got thermal imaging cameras to measure the heat generation and sound. We're going to measure the decibels of the sound and all that sort of hot technical stuff. So hopefully it'll be informative and honest and true and all that sort of stuff. So
good luck to whoever gets to be the one who posts that on the subreddit first, because that sounds like free karma to me. unless you get in first and post it. Major Nelson, he actually, this, by the way, anyone who tries to beat Larry, don't bother, because he's explained this to us. He actually lines up his post on Reddit simultaneously with his post on his webpage, so that he clicks post to his webpage, then he switches tabs and clicks post on the subreddit. So you can't beat Larry. Don't even try.
Unless you're leaking.
We need to get Larry back on here actually to talk about the X. He promised to come back it will be the 4th or 5th time he's been on here now. So you should all look forward to that. I haven't organized anything yet, but I can definitely promise that he does want to come back, and he definitely will have to now that the X is out. Although hopefully he's not busy being a daddy.
Oh, did he have a kid?
Yeah. He did.
Oh yeah, I did know that. I forgot.
A little while ago. Yeah. So that's the reason that AC left the UK and went to the US. An unfortunate loss for the European Xbox team, I have to say. He's one of my favorite people from Microsoft. Have you met him in person before?
Yeah, I have. AC is awesome.
He's so nice.
He's ace.
He's definitely ace.
I took the mick out of him one time because obviously he does a lot of the video content for them and presenting and stuff like that. And it's just really funny at E3. He was like, there was a makeup person coming in every now and then to like touch up his makeup and stuff. Mm-hmm. It was really funny. And, take a bit of banter.
Banter's always good. He's got a really good sense of humor, actually. Yeah,
he does. He's a really great guy.
Yeah. I think that's basically it. I'm very excited for the X. I've got mine pre-ordered. So hopefully I can give my impressions of it next week. Although it's going to be tight. We might even have to delay the podcast by a day or two just so that we can be playing the Xbox. But yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I hope all of you who bought or pre-ordered your Xbox One get one and don't get the shaft from Amazon or whoever.
Oh yeah, that's a big worry.
I hope. I want everyone's. I want to hear from all of you how excited you are, how hyped you are for the X, and tell us what you think about it. It's gonna be amazing. The first console release, first console refresh ever on the Xbox One side of things. If you've got a PlayStation 4 Pro, this is old news, but for us, it's all new and exciting. So, yeah, have a merry console launch, everyone, and we will see you all next week. Jez, thank you so much for filling in and joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
No, anytime, my friend. I'm looking forward to reading all of your coverage about the X as well, and for another week, Xbox, turn off.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit.
Let's do this.